Good morning, I'm Deirdre Fitzpatrick.
And I'm Teo Torres. It's Friday, weather looking just perfect, and Dirk has good news for us.
And he has good news. I mean, so far we are doing well.
Yeah, we're doing very well. I mean, it's here we are. We're kind of getting on the back half of July, and temperatures have been pretty hot for this month, but it's nice to get these little reprieves. We will be warming up, but today's going to be pretty close to just average from beginning to end here. So we are looking at more sunshine today, so it's going to be a sunny skies. The evening breeze is going to be with us. We have that Delta breeze that's sticking around, and temperatures will be a little bit warmer. Keep in mind, yesterday we hit a daytime high of 92 degrees. Today, we should see a high close to 96 degrees. So temperatures right now, again, right on where we should be for this time of year. Again, temperatures low 60s, very typical. Get the nice onshore flow through Fairfield, 56 degree temperature there, 60s in through the foothills, and 40s currently Truckee and Lake Tahoe. We have just wonderful weather across the board from coast to Sierra. 2 degrees cooler in San Francisco. We're 2 degrees cooler in Fairfield, 2 degrees cooler in Modesto, as well as Yuba City, Auburn, Placerville's 5 degrees cooler in Lake Tahoe. Remember how warm it was yesterday morning? At least that was what the report was. Well, it's 18 degrees cooler. That's where it should be. Onshore breeze 21 miles per hour, so we have that nice breeze making its way into the valley. Temperatures are going to make their way into the mid-90s this afternoon under sunny skies. Again, we're forecasting a high of 96 in downtown Sacramento. So that's what's going on with your weather. Now let's take a look at traffic with Brian Hickey.
All right, thanks, Dirk. Taking a look right outside right now, Highway 99 at 47th there. You can see traffic moving along just fine in that stretch. A little bit further south of here, though, we have a crash a little bit closer to Florin Road between Florin and Mack Road, and they're working to clear that right now. It's partially blocking the slow lane. They've got 2 tow trucks on scene right now, so that should clear out of there soon. It's a short little stretch of slowing right as you get up towards Florin Road there. I-5 still no delays on that stretch. Highway 50 and Interstate 80 all looking good, making your way down in on that westbound ride. And if you're continuing out across the causeway, I don't see any delays there. Stockton problem free as well. We head a little bit further to the south, and that's where we've got a couple of issues here. I-5, we've got a big rig over on the right-hand shoulder, partially blocking the lane there with a crash that has been reported with one vehicle either in the center divide or close to the number 1 lane, and that is why we're seeing some slowing there. Southbound 5 right around 120. Across the triangle, 205 is a 12-minute ride right now, westbound 580 at 23 minutes, and then Highway 99 Modesto to Manteca, you can see that's all in the green there. That's running at 13 minutes right now. Here in Sacramento, Highway 50, 10 minutes down to 99 from Rancho Cordova, Interstate 80, 9 minutes, I-5, 11 minutes out of Elk Grove, and 99 at 12 minutes. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Brian.
Well, new this morning, the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office and the California Highway Patrol are on the lookout for 5 juveniles who crashed a stolen car.
It happened along Summer Sunset Drive near Power Inn Road. When officers got there, they found this car had crashed into the sidewalk in a neighborhood. A neighbor told them they saw 5 minors get out of that car and run away. The call originally was reported as somebody driving around the neighborhood and attempting to break into other cars, but officers could not find any evidence of that. Deputies confirmed the car that they were driving was in fact stolen, and they are working this morning to track down the original owner.
1 person has died after being hit by a car early today. This happened near the Mack Road off-ramp along southbound Highway 99. Call came in just before 3 o'clock this morning. The California Highway Patrol says the driver is a 22-year-old man, and they say he remained on the scene and did fully cooperate with investigators. Officers believe that the person who was hit was homeless.
Well, the scene is clear this morning following a standoff at an apartment complex in Sacramento. Happened at the Meadow Glen Apartments near Meadowview Road and 24th Street. Here's a look at the scene from last night around 11:30 p.m. Our crews on scene heard police taking a megaphone trying to get somebody to surrender. Some members of the SWAT team were there with tactical gear. As soon as we get more information on this, we'll pass it along.
Happening today, Placer County residents are going to be able to voice their opposition to the placing of a sexually violent predator back on their streets.
KCRA3's Aaron Heff joins us live now from the newsroom with more on this. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. A strong reaction in Placer County as the placement of a man named William Stevenson comes up for discussion. Earlier this month, the judge granted Stevenson's release as a transient within Placer County. The health provider in charge of finding him housing said they plan to place him in an RV, but that hasn't sat well with many. Placer County sheriffs described Stevenson as a sexually violent predator who spent approximately 3 decades in state prison. They go on to say he was released back in 2014 and then arrested again in 2017 for possession of child pornography. Right now, he's still in treatment at the Department of State Hospitals. Today, the Placer County DA's office will open a case portal to receive letters from the community on their feedback, letters of opposition, and for the community to receive case updates. Stevenson's hearing is open to the public and is scheduled for September 1st at 8:30 in the morning in Auburn. Deirdre?
All right, thank you, Aaron. Also going on today, the competency trial of a former UC Davis student should be wrapping up the first week. Carlos Dominguez is accused of stabbing 3 people in Davis and killing 2 of them. Jurors heard from doctors in court yesterday, and they're deciding if Dominguez, who is charged with murder and attempted murder, is mentally competent to stand trial. Dr. Juliana Rohr is a psychologist who was appointed by the court in May to evaluate him. She is the only doctor who has specifically tested him. Dr. Rohr called Dominguez a textbook example of schizophrenia. People with schizophrenia can be competent, but she says that's not the case for Dominguez. Prosecutors pointed to some discrepancies as she testified as an expert for the defense.
It was your opinion that Mr. Dominguez may have the mental capacity to conduct his own defense. However, he could use some training on the court process. Those were your words.
Correct, those are my words. I think that I probably shouldn't have used the word may. I think I should have used might there.
And the doctor did review another doctor's report and believes that his mental state has gotten worse. Now, after today, the jury will be on break next week before returning to the courtroom the week after.
Well, former President Trump is facing new charges. It builds on the grand jury indictment from last month, alleging Trump refused to turn over sensitive government documents after leaving office. Mike Cherry joins us now in studio with a look at the new developments in the classified documents case. Mike.
Yeah, the former president now facing 2 additional charges, 1 count of willful retention of national defense information, as well as an obstruction count. Now, Trump of directing staff to delete security footage at his Florida home, which federal prosecutors say was an effort to obstruct their classified documents investigation. The updated indictment released on Thursday adds the new charges and a new defendant in the case. It zeroes in on the property manager at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate as a second co-conspirator. He's accused of helping the former president illegally hoard government documents marked top secret. Now, the indictment also states Oliveira told another employee that the boss wanted the security video server deleted.
The only way that indictment is as detailed in recounting those interactions is if a party to those communications is cooperating.
Now, in a statement, the Trump campaign did say, quote, "This is nothing more than a continued desperate and flailing attempt by the Biden crime family and their Department of Justice to harass President Trump and those around him." Now, some are speculating that this revised indictment will delay legal proceedings. The special counsel will seek to maintain that trial date recently set for May 20th of 2024, ahead of the presidential election where Trump remains the Republican frontrunner. Deirdre?
All right, thank you, Mike. Crews were able to protect 3 homes from a fire in El Dorado Hills. This one started after some vegetation behind the homes on Platt Circle last night started. The flames even burned the deck of one of those homes. Fire crews did stop it, however, before it caused extensive damage to the homes. The cause right now is under investigation.
Well, city-owned open spaces in Folsom are now closed. This is due to high fire risk. Live Copter 3 was up and over the city yesterday afternoon. Public trails, bike paths, and parks do remain open. If you're not sure what's closed areas are very clearly marked with signs. If you're in a closed area, you could be asked to leave.
Well, more than $113 million will be going to projects across the state to help protect underserved communities from wildfires. The governor's office announced that funding, and 96 projects are going to split the money. Now, some of the projects are in 9 counties in our area. They're highlighted there in red. The projects are going to be trying to improve defensible space around the homes, reduce overgrown vegetation, and improve evacuation routes in rural communities, and some other initiatives.
Well, there's renewed hope that the dream of a new soccer stadium and a Major League Soccer team in Sacramento could still happen.
And that is because a new investor is reviving the talks to financially convince the MLS to reward Sacramento with an MLS franchise.
Mike Sells live at the rail yards this morning in Sacramento with what KCRA3 has learned about the new investor and a possible construction of that new stadium. Mike.
Yeah, and Teo, talk of a potential big investor coming in and possibly helping Sacramento convince Major League Soccer to award a team here. That's not anything new. What's new is, because we've known that for the last 16 months, is this. Take a look. We can now put a face to this latest investor. Her name is Belinda Stronach, and she's part of the Stronach Investment Group. She's a Canadian businesswoman with a deep history of owning horse racing venues and even served as a member of Parliament. KCRA 3's Michelle Dapper talked to the current owner of the Sac Republic about this revived hope yesterday. We also spoke with the mayor about why things have been so quiet recently about where things were going and whether or not there was this investor. Listen.
If this does not work, we already actually have some partners. If Belinda and her team, wish not to move forward, to build, a stadium that's really very robust. I think it'd be innovative to Sacramento. I've mentioned this before. I see it as really being, a stadium for the people and, really a community asset.
So that's the other big news, is the fact that whether or not this investor pans out or falls through, a stadium will get built behind me, at least as we are told construction is, quote, imminent. As for the mayor, when we asked him why things have been so quiet, he explained that there's just a lot of moving parts right now. And you remember, we failed at this twice already, so a lot of this has been behind the scenes, trying to make sure that this latest investor may finally be the one to convince MLS to bring a Major League Soccer team here to Sacramento. Still a long road to go, but some hopeful signs, especially about a new downtown stadium being built right here in the rail yards area behind me. Live in Sacramento, Mike Cassell, KCRA 3 News.
Mike, thanks. KCRA 3 did contact Major League Soccer for details on the next steps, but at this point it's declining to say anything else.
Well, new this morning, officials in Sacramento will break ground on affordable housing for seniors. City's Housing and Redevelopment Agency will help develop 43 units of housing in Oak Park. It would be located along 39th and Broadway. Once complete, these units will be for seniors 62 years of age and older. Mayor Darrell Steinberg and Council member Katie Maple will be there for the groundbreaking, which starts around 10 a.m.